Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuzz here, and in today's video, we're going to talk about some items and unlocks for PVM that you may not have heard about and ones that I feel are very underrated. And some of these I didn't even know existed until making this video, which really helped a ton while PVMing for me. Now you may have heard of some of these, but I hope you can find one thing from this video that you may not have known of or you just didn't prioritize that can help you out a lot. So let's go and get into the items and unlocks. So the first thing we have is the Elite Seasinger Kiba and Makigai. Now these are tier 88 dual wield magic weapons that are made from player owned ports. Now to make these you need a ton of chi, koi scales, and the gemstone kaseki, which are all obtained from player owned ports. You also can upgrade these to the tier 88 elite version, so you'll need more chi and a Seasinger weapon upgrade kit, which you can buy pretty cheaply. Now the reason these are so good is because essentially they're tier 88 dual wield magic weapons if you get the elite version that you can earn from ports and not something that you have to go buy. For instance, tier 90 seismic sets, I recently purchased it for 1.4 billion GP. Yeah, dual wield magic is by no means cheap right now, so for these you can either get the tier 85 regular version or preferably the upgraded tier 88 version for pretty much only a few million GP. Of course you are going to have to grind a lot getting all the materials from ports and doing all the special missions and everything like that, but if you already have a ton of materials or you're up for the grind, this can be a very cheap way to get some very viable dual wield magic weapons. I mean, these are going to be super solid basically anywhere you take them. Tier 88 without having to actually pay for it is really good. So next we actually have an unlock from a quest, which I didn't even have myself until very recently somehow. I hate to admit it, but that is completing the Curse of the Blackstone quest. Now this quest is a master quest, but it has very little requirements, and when you complete this, you'll get as a reward a 10% damage reduction in all elite dungeons, which is absolutely a huge thing. If you do elite dungeons and you do not have this unlock, this will be so beneficial. I know I didn't know about it until well after I had done a bunch of elite dungeons, so I wish I knew about this earlier. This is a very easy unlock, but it's also super good. The next unlock that we're going to talk about is one that I feel like a lot of people glance over a little bit as being like a super important thing, but it can actually be really great for PVM, and that's the Double Surge and Escape Codex. Now these codexes are purchased and they cost around 50 to 60 mil each, but what they do is what it sounds like. They allow you to surge and escape twice. Now this is amazing not only for mobility purposes like running through elite dungeons faster, getting faster runs and just increasing your times, but also for potentially saving your life in a bunch of PVM scenarios. The ability to surge or escape twice or surge again if you mess up is honestly invaluable. I don't know how many times at Archglacier or Telos I'd like surge by accident or surge out of the way because I panicked for some reason or just needed a surge, and then I'd be so relieved that I had another surge or escape ready to go when I needed it. It honestly comes into play a lot more than you'd think. And I feel like it's definitely something worth looking into. You can either get it yourself from doing the agility course, doing the untradeable version, or you can end up buying it for around 50 to 60 mil. And not only is it good for PVM, it'll also come in handy just for generally moving around the game, like if you're doing clues or anything like that. So it'll have benefits in other ways, but I find it really beneficial for PVM as well. So next we have an unlock from Death that is unlocked with Reaper points, and that is the Death Support unlock, which this unlock permanently doubles the amount of life points healed when you sign from a Sign of Life. This will bring your health back to 50% life points when you end up signing instead of 25%. This can absolutely and has been life-saving for me in a ton of scenarios. For instance, how many times does your Sign of Life go off and you're revived with super low HP and you immediately die right after? This happens to me all the time, especially at Archglacier with the Pillars of Ice, and sometimes at other places where you're being dealt rapid damage. Having this upgrade has saved my streak a few times because I'm revived with higher health, and this kind of just gives you a little bit more of a safety net when you are to sign, and I feel like it's well worth the points, you know, for that extra safety net when PVMing, especially if you're somebody that's prone to sign a lot like me. So the next one is an unlock that I've talked about before, but boy is it good, and so many people actually had no clue about this when I did mention it before in a video, so I felt like I needed to mention it again here just because it's such a good unlock, and that's the Spirit Cape. The Spirit Cape is purchased for 45k Dungeoneering tokens, and its special effect reduces the special move cost for all familiars by 20%. This is amazing if you use a Ripper Demon with scrolls, or basically any other familiar that uses scrolls. But the main thing about this cape that many people don't realize is that this cape is a passive effect, meaning you don't need to wear the cape to get this effect. So all you need to do is purchase the Spirit Cape, and you will have this effect permanently unlocked. This is an extremely important unlock, and it's amazing for PVM since most of the time a familiar with scrolls is going to be being used. And for only 45k Dungeoneering tokens and low requirements of 50 defense, summoning, and Dungeoneering, this is a very cheap but very useful unlock. So next is a bit of a niche one, but it is the Totem of Auras, which is one that I didn't even know existed until recently. This totem is unlocked after finding 3 pieces on Anachronia through finding all 60 ancient Zygomites, killing Slayer creatures, and then also running the Anachronia agility course. Now, when activated, this totem reduces the cooldown of auras by 15%. So if you're someone who doesn't like to buy aura refreshes, this can be a pretty nice reduction, as auras that take 2 or 3 hours to cool down are reduced, like I said, by 15%. So while this isn't for everyone and not everyone's going to find use from this, I feel like it can be a welcome quality of life improvement to some people. So next we have the Demon Slayer ability, the Undead Slayer ability, and also the Dragon Slayer ability. Now these abilities are all purchased for a variety of different prices, anywhere from 35 mil to like 60 mil. And what these actually do is they increase the damage done to demons, undead monsters, or dragons by 15% for 10 seconds. So you'll use this as an ability, and you'll get the buff for 10 seconds of a 15% increase. So something like the Dragon Slayer ability can be used a ton if you do the Dragonkin Laboratory, of course. So it's very, very useful there, not only for the bosses, but clearing the mobs. And then the Undead Slayer ability is very useful in the Shadow Reef for clearing the mobs. So while these abilities don't apply in every situation, there are some situations where they're very, very strong and well worth a look if you do any of the things a lot that I mentioned. And then finally we have the Malletops Perk in player-owned farms. So basically, if you have the Malletops Perk from player-owned farms, so you can have 1 or 2 Malletops, so you can have Tier 1 or Tier 2, you need an Elder Malletops in a large pen with a farm totem. So basically, your barricade duration with Turtling 4 as a perk on your shield is 13.8 seconds. Now, if you have Turtling 4 and you have the Tier 2 Malletops perk, then your barricade is increased to 17.4 seconds. For instance, having no Turtling perk and having no Malletops perk, you get 10.2 seconds of barricade normally, but with the Turtling perk and the 2 Malletops, your barricade will last 17.4 seconds, which is a over 7-second increase, which almost doubles the amount of your barricade, which is absolutely crazy. So this is super underrated and something that can quite frankly save your life in a lot of PVM scenarios that you have to barricade. So this is one, along with Turtling 4, that I highly recommend. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope this helped you guys out. I tried to find things that I felt that not too many people talk about that much, that are kind of underrated for PVM, and maybe some things that are a little bit more obscure that you haven't heard of, because I've covered almost all of the essential things for PVM. I really can't make any more videos about that, nor do I want to. So I thought this would be interesting to kind of look a little deeper into some lesser known things, and some of these things like the Spirit Cape I didn't know was passive for quite a while, and then the Blackstone Dragon quest is really useful. The Elite Dungeon chest is actually super useful too, that upgrade, which I didn't mention here, but it's very good as well. And yeah, I thought this was pretty interesting. If you guys liked it, if it helped you out, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And thank you for 24,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone that subscribed. I never thought I'd get here, so it means a lot. And I'll see you all in the next video.